Today we continue to listen clear comprehension, sampajañña. In the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, Buddha expounded the four foundations of mindfulness: Kāyanupassana, Satipatthana, contemplation on the body; Vedananupassana, Satipatthana, contemplation on feelings; Caitanupassana, Satipatthana, contemplation on consciousness; and Dhammanupassana, contemplation on Dhamma objects. The first foundation, contemplation on the body, is divided into 14 sections, beginning with mindfulness of breathing. It is followed by mindfulness of postures of the body, iddhiyabhata. The third section describes sampajañña, mindfulness with clear comprehension. It is one of the important texts for those yogis who practice vipassana meditation. So Buddha said, bhikkhus, and again, a bhikkhu in going forward and going back applies clear comprehension. In looking straight ahead and elsewhere, he applies clear comprehension. In bending and stretching his limbs, he applies clear comprehension. Before we try to understand clear comprehension, first we must understand clear comprehension is correct understanding. There are four kinds of clear comprehension. Number one, sattaka sampajañña, clear comprehension of what is beneficial or what is not. Number two, clear comprehension of what is suitable or not suitable. Number three, gochara sampajañña, clear comprehension of the result. And number four, clear comprehension of non-delusion, asamoha sampajañña. Clear comprehension of non-delusion is the last comprehension. Non-confusion in going forward and so forth is the clear comprehension of non-delusion. This means understanding the reality in going forward and going back and so on. Clear comprehension of non-delusion is the understanding of reality. It only comes as a result of the third clear comprehension. For without meditation, there can be no wisdom. Clear comprehension of non-delusion is the wisdom gained through the practice of meditation. It means simply understanding correctly the Namarupa you are practicing at the present moment. When yogi practice, the practice of meditation becomes mature. He also see that the Namarupa present when raising the foot to not carry over into the next stage in which the foot is moved forward and the Namarupa that are present in moving the foot do not last into the shifting away of the foot. At every stage, these phenomena arise and disappear together. After coming into existence in several sections, links and parts, Namarupa break quickly and disappear in the same place in which they have arisen. Neither mind nor matter moves to another place. Because there is a continuity of arising and disappearing, we may think that they move from one place to another, but actually they arise in one place and disappear at the same place. The commentary said, they arise and disappear, section by section, link by link, part by part. Then a simile is given. They break quickly in those places, crackling like sesame seeds thrown into a heated pan. You can almost hear the crackling sound of mind and matter arising and disappearing when you come to really see the arising and dissolution of psychophysical phenomena. In the ultimate sense, what takes place in all of four postures is the going, the standing, the sitting, or the lying down of the elements. What is it that we call going? It is just the moving of the elements, the earth elements, water element, fire elements, and wind elements. Yogi can see this clearly in the mind when the clear comprehension of result has developed. Then the yogi understands that there's no one who goes, no ego entity that goes or makes him go. Yogi knows the answer to the question, who is the one who goes forward? Who's going forward is there? No one. For he has seen that there is only mind and matter, only the elements arising and disappearing. He knows clearly and without confusion that there is no person, there is no one who goes forward or back. When it is fully understood as an experienced reality, yogi has attained the last clear comprehension, the clear comprehension of non-delusion, asamoha sambhajanya. The commentary explained that the clear comprehension of non-delusion is non-confusion in going forward and going back. Non-confusion means seeing the reality in going forward and going back. See it deeply and clearly. This understanding arises by itself when clear comprehension of result the practice of meditation has matured. When this happens, the underlying realities of all activities of life itself are made clear. People who are not initiated in the teaching of the Buddha, especially those who hold on to the notion of self or soul, think that when somebody goes, a soul goes, or it is a soul or a self that makes that person go. Sometimes they think, I go. There is an I who does the going or who makes myself go. This understanding is always rooted in this delusion, moha, the delusion of soul or self or I. But those yogis who practice Satipatthana meditation following the instruction of the Buddha know differently when they go forward and when they go back. These yogis know that when there is the mind or desire to walk, this mind produces what is called vayodhatu, air elements. Air elements means minute material particles of the air. These air elements in turn produce movement. Bodily movements, especially the voluntary movements, are always preceded by the intention or desire to move. That intention or desire, along with consciousness, produce the air elements, and the air elements produce movement. This is understood by yogi who has been practicing vipassana meditation, and through the practice of mindfulness in going forward and going back, has fully developed the clear comprehension of result. He sees that in going forward and going back, there is just the intention to walk and what is called walking. There are only these two things. Beyond these two things, there's nothing we can call a self, soul, an I, a person, or an individual. This is correct understanding in accordance with the teaching of the Buddha, and we can get it only through the practice of vipassana. We may read books, we may listen to Dhamma talks, and we may understand a little, but that understanding is not real understanding. Real understanding is experiential, not intellectual, and we must experience it ourselves. Through the practice of vipassana, we must see and know for ourselves that in going forward and back, there are only two things: the intention to walk or desire to walk, and the walking itself. The commentary further explained that in making one step, there are 6 stages. A yogi who has reached clear comprehension of non-delusion sees and understands these 6 stages in terms of the 4 elements or 4 essential. They are the earth elements, Pathavi Dhatu, water elements, Apo Dhatu, air elements, Vayo Dhatu, and fire elements, Tejo Dhatu. Earth element does not necessarily mean the earth, but the quality inherent in earth, that is hardness or softness. You can discover. Water element does not mean water, but something inherent in water, that is fluidity or cohesiveness. The elements of air does not mean necessarily air itself, but the quality inherent in air, expansion or support. The qualities of fire elements is heat, not necessarily fire itself. These are called the 4 elements. A yogi sees and understands these 4 elements while he walks or makes a step. The 6 stages of a step are lifting the foot up, moving it forward, shifting away, meaning swaying slightly to one side or the other, dropping the foot down, placing it on the ground, and lastly, pressing the foot against the ground. Observing these 6 stages, the yogi clearly sees the 4 great elements. The earth and water elements are said to be heavy elements, while the air elements and fire elements are regarded as light elements. Heaviness is indicative of the water elements. When something is fluid, the heaviness in it makes it fall. Earth element is also heavy. It manifests as receiving and is a receptacle or base. Air elements, air has the characteristics of expansion. So moving is the outcome of wind elements. Fire elements makes things soft. When something is on fire, it becomes softer and softer as it melts or turns to ash. That constant softening means lightness. When you are aware of lightness, you are aware of the fire elements. When you are aware of heaviness, you are aware of the water elements. When you are aware of movement, you are aware of the air elements. When you are aware of your foot pressing firmly on the ground, you are aware of the earth elements. In the 6 stages of one step, you can see these 4 great elements. This only happens with the practice of meditation and only when clear comprehension of result has matured. And also yogis see that mind and matter which arise at the stage of raising the foot do not extend to the next stage. They disappear in the same stage in which they have arisen. At the next stage, a new set of mind and matter arises. That too appears and disappears at that particular stage and does not reach into the next stage. Furthermore, mind and matter arise and disappear, link by link, bit by bit, at particular moments within a particular stage, and do not survive into the succeeding stages. There is mind preceding each moment. In the commentary, only this mind is mentioned, but there is also mind that arises together with the movement, is aware of the movement. There is a mind that is noting the lifting, moving, putting down, and so forth. These mind moments arise together with the material properties and cease with it. Then another set of mind arises and ceases. The process goes on like the flow of the river, Nadi Sotawiyya. One state of consciousness follows another state of consciousness. They follow one another immediately without any intervening gap. This arising and disappearing of Namarupa, mental and physical phenomena, goes on and on and on until yogi becomes an arahant and reach the final passing away. Going forward and going back does not refer only to walking. It can be applied also to standing, sitting, and lying down. When you are standing, if you lean forward, that is going forward. If you bend backward, that is going back. If you are sitting and you bend forward, that could be taken as going forward. If you bend backward, that is going back. The commentary does not offer any clues about going forward and going back while lying down, but just say that it is the same. Maybe when you are lying on your back and then turn to one side, it could be called going forward. And when you turn on your back again, that could be going back. Whatever it is, we can say that going forward and going back refer to other postures besides walking. The four kinds of clear comprehension should be applied to all our actions. The first one, clear comprehension of purpose, determines whether or not it is purposeful to do a particular act. If it is purposeful, then it must be decided whether it is suitable to do it. After knowing it to be suitable, we practice meditation on it, which is the application of clear comprehension of result. Kochara Sambazinya. When clear comprehension of result matures, correct understanding of the action itself dawns on yogis. That understanding is called clear comprehension of non-delusion. According to the teachings, only then does a person see clearly and correctly. But as long as he thinks that actions are done by a person, a soul, or an individual, he is deluded. These four clear comprehension must be applied to every actions mentioned in the section of the commentary. Their application to the first set of actions, going forward and going back, has already been described. The next set concerns looking straight ahead and looking sideways. Looking sideways is explained as looking in small directions to either side, which is necessary for safety and balance in the normal course of walking. Although there are other kinds of looking, looking up, looking down, or looking back, they are not mentioned in the commentary. That is because it is neither proper nor profitable for a yogi to be looking all around and getting distracted. It is not proper. However, if yogi does happen to look up, down or back, he does not stop meditating because of the lapse. Yogi still must practice mindfulness. He must practice meditation when he looks up or down or back. So even though they are not mentioned, all looking and seeing are to be included in this set of actions. What is a clear comprehension of purpose here? Before looking at something, a bhikkhu or yogis must find out whether it is beneficial to see or look at it. The Venerable Nanda is cited as a model for those who apply clear comprehension of purpose in seeing. The text asks the question regarding purpose. Should looking straight on in the eastern direction become a thing that must be done by Venerable Ananda? He looks on in the eastern direction, having reflected with all his mind in this way. May no abhijja and domanassa, covetous, grief producing, may no covetous, grief producing, mean unskillful mental phenomena flow upon me or overcome me while I am looking in the eastern direction. Looking towards the western direction, northern direction, and southern directions, he would make the same resolution. Before looking in any directions, he would reflect in this way. May no akusala, may no unwholesome overcome me when I'm looking in this direction. To apply clear comprehension of purpose, we too should reflect in this way. Is it beneficial to see it or not? May no akusala, may no unwholesome overpower me if I look in this direction. And actions may be purposeful and beneficial, but not necessarily suitable. For clear comprehension of suitability in seeing, we may turn to the example given for the first group of actions, going forward and going back. Even such beneficial acts as seeing a shrine, a relic, a Bodhi tree, the Sangha or the Thera might not, in some instances, pass the test of suitability. Seeing or looking at a shrine is a beneficial thing for a bhikkhu or a yogi to do. But if a noisy crowd is celebrating a festival there, it may not be suitable to see the shrine at that time. Suitability should be considered with reference to circumstances, time and place of the proposed action, in addition to the beneficial purpose. What is clear comprehension of result here? It means simply sustained meditation. Clear comprehension of result is not forsaking meditation, not losing mindfulness. Applying mindfulness to seeing straight ahead or sideways is called clear comprehension of result in seeing. When you are practicing vipassana meditation, everything becomes the object. When you look or when you see, you are to be mindful of looking or seeing. A practitioner of vipassana just sees or looks what the usual mindfulness meditation. You may also apply your knowledge of aggregates, elements, and bases to seeing. A practitioner of samatha meditation, on the other hand, must focus complete and undivided concentration on a single object as his meditation subject. If you are practicing kasina meditation with your eyes and attention fixed on the colored discs, and you want to look at something else, what should you do? You should look at it with your original meditation foremost in mind. Like the mother cow that eats food, and at the same time looks at her calf. Having looked in this way, you go back to your meditation with full concentration. So the meditator may look but not lose sight of his meditation. A samatha practitioner must keep to his original meditation and not give it up while looking at something else. But a practitioner of vipassana must seize everything that arises in his mind as it arises. There's no going back to anything, for he is watching dynamic flow. That is his meditation. That is clear comprehension of result. What is clear comprehension of non-delusion? Asamoha sambazinya. It is the insight that there is no entity of any kinds that sees or causes to see. It is knowing that when there is intention to look, there is intention to see. This consciousness produces the air elements. With the air elements or particles of air elements, there arises what is called bodily expression or bodily intimation, and that means movement. To follow the commentarial explanation of seeing, with the diffusions of vayadhatu, the air elements, the lower eyelids drops down and the upper eyelids goes up. When this happens, there is seeing. You see something. At the moment of seeing, there arises seeing consciousness. There is no self or soul that sees or makes you see. It is not I that sees, it is not I who makes seeing. There is just seeing consciousness arising as a result of the eyelids opening up because of the diffusion of air elements caused by mind, caused by the intention to see. Stated another way, when you want to see, there is the intention to see, and that causes the air elements. That air element causes movement in the eyelids, which causes them to open. Seeing is just that. There's no person, there's no atta, there's no self involved. We have used the term seeing consciousness in order to explain the process more clearly. However, the Pali words is not seeing consciousness. It functions as seeing. That is what we call seeing. When you pay attention to what you are seeing, you will notice that the eyelids move because of the air elements and because there is eye consciousness, which performs the functions of seeing. When we understand seeing this way, we are said to have clear comprehension of non-delusion with regard to seeing. The commentary next explains the first three ways to understand the clear comprehension of non-delusion. This may not be so easy for you to grasp, because a knowledge of Abhidhamma is needed to understand it. But as these ways are given in the commentary, we will explain them to make things clear to you. We have been discussing clear comprehension of non-delusion with regards to seeing. Now it is time to ask what seeing is in the light of Abhidhamma. When is the meaning phenomena according to Abhidhamma? We are looking at the process and functions of consciousness. When we see something, there is what is called the seeing thought process. We see an object with one or more thought processes. A single thought process consists of 17 moments of consciousness, 17 moments of 17 chitakana. Through some time, there may be fears. Before we see something, the mind is at rest. It is not seeing the object. It is in a subconscious state called bhavinga, the life continuum, which goes on and on and on from life to life. This passive mind is subject to disturbances whenever a sense object impinges on one of the senses. Its brief arousal sets in motion a thought process. When a visible object strikes the eyes, sensitivity, at the same time it also strikes the bhavinga, which then vibrates. After 2 moments of vibrating, the bhavinga falls and in its place, active mind arises. This first active consciousness is called adverting, avijjana, turning to the object presented. It initiates a series of active thought moments. After adverting, there is seeing consciousness, cakkhu viññāṇa, seeing the object, coming into contact with it. After seeing the object, there is a receiving consciousness or accepting consciousness, that is sampaticchana. Receiving consciousness is followed by investigation as to whether it is a good or a bad object. After investigating, after santirana, there is votabana, deciding that the object is good or deciding that it is bad. At this point, the object is not yet fully experienced, but after determining, there are 7 thought moments during which full experience of the object takes place. In Pali, these 7 moments are called javana, meaning swift. They are followed by 2 registering thought moments, that is dhararamana, which review the entire thought process. Beginning with the bhavinga, there are altogether 17 moments of consciousness, 17 cetakana in one thought process, all rising and falling in sequence with extreme rapidity. This thought process is called 5 sense door thought process because it arises through the 5 sense door: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body. Pinchadwara. We have described it in terms of seeing because seeing is the focus of our concern. At this point, it might be useful to review the 17 units of consciousness that arise. They are bhavinga and its 2 vibration, bhavinga chalana and bhavinga picheda, adverting, avijana, seeing, cakkhu viññāna, receiving, sappatechana, investigating, santirana, determining, vottabana, 7 moments of javana, and 2 registering moments, dhararamana. Altogether 17 units of consciousness. We shall now turn to the javanas. When we see a person or an object, there may be a feeling of attachment or aversion, even anger. This might be assumed to occur during the javana moments when the object is being fully experienced. However, the commentary explained that at the first moment of javana, there is no attachment, there is no aversion or delusion. At that moment of javana, there is only seeing without any color or taint. The same is true for the remaining 6 moments, for all the javanas are identical in kind, varying only in intensity. Attachment or anger towards the objects does not happen during these 7 moments. That is because in the 5 sense door, thought process, the javanas are very, very weak. Although they are all of the same kinds and can be kusala or akusala, they are too weak to manifest as attachment or aversion. So they really don't amount to much in this procedure. Then when do attachment, aversion, and delusion arise? The 5 sense door thought process is followed by another process called manodvara, the mind door thought process. There are 3 distinct mind door processes that can follow Only in the mind or thought processes do the jhavanas become strong and powerful. It is during these moments that attachment or aversion to things arise. As the commentary explained in the five sense door thought process, there is no attachment, there is no aversion or delusion during the moments of jhana. Attachment or aversion towards the objects arises only later in the mind door processes. Understanding this is called understanding by accurate knowledge of the root. Root here means the five sense door thought processes. Understanding according to accurate knowledge of the root is one way of understanding the clear comprehension of non-delusion. So we'll continue next week. Clear comprehension. And Buddha reminded, Kochari bhikkhave charata sake pitike visaye. Roam in domain of four foundations of Satipatthana, which are the heritage of the Buddha. So yogi dwell contemplating the body, feeling, consciousness and Dhamma objects. If yogi dwell contemplating the body, if yogi roam in domain of four foundations of mindfulness, kilesa mara cannot attack to yogi. Yogi is safe from the mental defilements. So may you practice well by practicing vipassana meditation, by roaming in domain of the four foundations of mindfulness, by noting, rising, falling, sitting, touching, seeing, hearing continuously and meticulously. May all yogis be liberated from all suffering. May all yogis realize the real peace in the very near future.